We're going to be chatting a little bit about cybersecurity. I know that when I say cyber or security, everybody goes, oh gosh, it's that highly technical, complex topic. But I think it doesn't have to be. It is something really simple to understand if the message is, packaged correctly. And that's what I would like to do today, as well as to let you know what we have in place in terms of risk management, as well as controls around our cyberspace. JP, will you please play the video? And
we've been hearing a lot about cybersecurity lately, largely because of what happened to Sony. Companies and individuals are more concerned about the safety and privacy of their information than ever. President Obama has unveiled a number of new proposals this week to crack down on hackers, and he plans to address this in the State of the Union speech on Tuesday. And it's great that the government is working on this, but the truth of the matter is we need to do a better job of protecting ourselves. The most popular password in the United States is password 123. And as long as that's the case, we're vulnerable. So today we sent a camera out on Hollywood Boulevard to help people by asking them to tell us their password. And this is how that went.
We're talking about cybersecurity today and how safe people's passwords are. What is one of your online passwords currently?
It is my dog's name and the year I graduated from high school.
Oh, what kind of dog do you have?
I have a Chihuahua Papillon.
And what's its name?
Jameson.
Jameson. And where'd you go to school?
I went to school back in Greensburg, Pennsylvania.
What school?
Hempfield Area Senior High School.
Oh, when did you graduate?
In 2009.
Oh, great.
It's like my cat's name and then just like a random number.
Okay. As you had this cat for a while?
Yeah, she's my childhood pet.
Aw. And what's her name?
Her name is Jolie.
Jolie.
Mm-hmm.
So like a password of yours would be Jolie and then a number.
Yeah.
Like number 1?
Like my birthday.
Oh, when is your birthday?
June 12th.
Oh, nice. And what year were you born?
95.
Oh, great. Mm-hmm. So Jolie, 6, 12, 95.
Yes.
Got it.
So you mean to give my password right now? No, I cannot do that.
But we all want to know what it is so we can tell you if it's strong or not.
Oh my goodness. Let me think. Okay, one is Tel Aviv. Yeah. 468, and then Israel. It's only 3, but it's for me it's strong enough.
Ireland 1 2 3 4.
Gemma 1 2 3. Spelled Gemma.
Well, most of them are Italian.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Like
so
what? Like what's a good Italian password?
My grandma's name.
What's your grandma's name?
Maria.
Maria. So Maria is your password?
Oh yeah, now you know my password. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, the important thing is they learned a terrible lesson.
So it gets as simple as what you've seen on the screen. So there are other elements within cybersecurity where we look at technical things, where as the technical IT team, we need to put in controls. But I think where we get tripped up is with the simple things like your password and giving out your password for free. So these are some of the top 10 cyber risks, give or take, because, from year to year, from decade to decade, things change and obviously things move up and down. So you might argue with me and say, there is another cybersecurity risk that you know of that should make it to the top 10 cyber risk list. But these are basically what we're looking at. Just a story that I must tell. Back in 2017, I wrote a cybersecurity test, and I thought I was pretty clever. I had material for that particular exam from 2009. And in a bid to save, 2,000 Rand, I said, I'm not going to buy material. I'm going to use my material from 2009. When I opened up that, that exam paper, the first question was on social media. And back in 2009, yes, social media was becoming a thing, but, we weren't really talking about cyber risks associated with social media. So I got a bit of a surprise. And that just goes to show that things do change and you do have to get on top of the changes regarding cybersecurity. Just to look at, one or two of these that are listed up here, ransomware would be something like where you've got a virus infiltrate your computer systems. But what's different with this type of virus is that there is a large sum of money that is requested or actually demanded from you. We also have things like social engineering. It is very common these days to suddenly get an email from the CEO of your company. But when you look at the email, you wonder, this person is referring to me as if we've got that, working relationship, and they're asking me to buy vouchers at a Pick and Pay and send it to them. It doesn't look right. But sometimes someone might actually say, yay, I got an email from Davi and he wants me to do this. And to prove that I'm a good employee, I'm going to go ahead and do it. And that's where we get tripped up. So like I said, cybersecurity is nothing difficult. It's nothing complex. You just have to look at your space. And by being able to protect your own space, it goes a long way in protecting the environment. This is just a picture from a site that does tracking of attacks that happen across the globe. If you look at the bottom, it says, it tells you if, this type of attack is malware, phishing, or an exploit, and it's happening, you get an attack from one country to another. So if you look at the number right there under the main heading, I don't even want to say it out loud, but that's the number of attacks. And this screenshot I took from the website last night around 6 o'clock. So you can imagine by 6 o'clock, there's been that number of attacks on any given day, how many attacks there are. So there are lots of attacks, and there are different ways in which we as Alexforbes make sure that we are protected as far as we can. Before I go into the slide, in fact, I'll go back to the slide, but just to give you a view of the kind of things that we look at in our environment. So this is our cyber security strategy for the year. It has a lot of things happening here, but it goes to show you that we look at different parts of our environment and what should be secured, what we are currently securing, and how mature we are in our processes to secure the environment. So we do this on an ongoing basis. So we look at our environment and we assess in terms of maturity, how mature are we in relation to other companies within the industry, in relation to other companies globally, how mature are we in protecting our environment? And obviously we have a target in terms of where we would like to go in terms of maturity. At any given point, there is projects on the go. There are things that we do from an operational perspective to make sure that we are protected as best as we can. There's, changes in the environment. So we may change an application system, or like Johnny was showing a little bit earlier, there's changes to our website. We have to think around ways to then protect those new elements that come into our environment. So this is something that we are constantly working on together with the cybersecurity team, as well as our general IT operations team and the risk team, to make sure that we're properly secured. I wanted to go back to this report. It's a World Economic Forum report that was released, and it looks at some of the cybersecurity items for 2023 and what the outlook looks like. And some of the things that were looked at were what is happening geopolitically, what's happening in terms of emerging technology, laws and regulations, and what organizations around the globe think around some of these elements. One of the things that came out of this study is that the way business sees cybersecurity, as well as the way technology leaders look at cybersecurity, we are almost going in the same direction. Whereas before, in the 2022 report, it looked like we were speaking different languages. a business was saying, I want to implement this application system by next week, and I don't care what happens, it needs to be in. And the cybersecurity professionals would come in and say, great, we would like that for our business, but we'd also like to make sure that we are protected, so we can only do it in 3 months' time. And there was always that push and pull, because we saw the world differently. That view is starting to change, where business and cybersecurity technology people are starting to see the same picture, which is very comforting. This just gives a view of some of the things we're doing in our environment. So if you look at this, there's a whole lot of stuff that we do around our governance and our risk management, but also the technical stuff where we think about perimeter security, our platform security, and it's things like, do we have firewalls? Do we have antivirus implemented in our environment? Do we have a way to control user access into our systems? And it just goes to show there is a lot that we do in combination with our partners to make sure that we are properly protected. This slide just speaks to, keeping our people on the journey and taking our people on the journey. And it's around user awareness and user training around cybersecurity. And I refer back to the first video that we saw. It's about, making our users aware of the security risks that lie with them. You can't just pick up a phone and someone asks, different questions about your organization and you answer without understanding the context or where that question is coming from. And that's why we do a lot of training, a lot of user awareness campaigns. Very interesting is that once in a while we'd send out phishing emails just to see who will fall for the bait. And, we choose times like around Valentine's Day, where you send out an email and you say, win a prize for your partner, just click on this link. And you'd be surprised how many people still click on that link. But it's also comforting to know that there is a large number of people who go, this doesn't look right, and actually report it to our cybersecurity center. My last slide is just around, there'll always be changes in terms of geopolitics. There'll always be changes in terms of organizations changing and morphing. There is, a lot of talk around cybersecurity skills and making sure that we've got the right cybersecurity skills to remain relevant, as well as to make sure that we keep protecting our environment as best as possible. So these are the things that we're constantly aware of. These are the things that we're constantly working on to make sure that our environment is protected. Are there any questions or comments?